You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone. As always, welcome to Pace Radio Show. And as always, we're coming to you at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca, as well as our social media locations. Good evening, Tamara. How you doing?
Well, I'm sitting here with my emotional support cow, which is a heating pad.
I see
and,
that.
Yeah, that's about, that's about the best of it today.
Yeah, and you have your support heat cow is something.
Yeah,
that
my support cow, my cannabis, and I'm just sticking to roam. And then my son made sure I have tea and water and grapes and some nutritional food beside me because I got up this morning and I couldn't walk. I was actually sitting on my walker going backwards to get to the bathroom.
Oh, really?
I could not walk my knee.
And
it was just.
And this is due to your arthritis.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Yesterday it was my shoulders, both my shoulders, which are still not much better. And then today again, now it's into my knees. So, yeah. Okay. I've asked you to come up over here. You won't. So you can just emotional support your gremlin that wants up here, but then you go to get her up here and she just wants to fart around.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been
playtime. It's playtime.
No, it's time to get up here, and she won't jump up here, and she expects me to. I don't know what she expects me to make a whole production of her getting up here. Pretty much. It's been a couple weeks of straight pain, so it's been magical.
So what did I see? You got a vape pen you got there that I seen? Because your video is a little dark because of the windows.
Oh, am I too dark? I can
still see it.
Let's see if I can turn some lights on. Maybe it'll make a difference. But yeah, I've got a vape pen that I just got today. It's resin. It's not anything with botanicals, but it's from the legal store.
Live resin.
Live resin, because our res store still is not open. I don't know what's going on since all the hubbub down in Nova Scotia, but they've been closed since before Christmas, right? Or not before Christmas, right around Christmas it was. I got to get this dog before she just drives us crazy with her barking. So, no, Piper, you go there. Okay, so I've only had access to, whether it's, or I order it online, and I'm not patient enough to do that, where I have to wait for it in the mail, right? So I've been going to the legal store. So yeah, I've got this vape. I can't remember. This is Valhera.
So you're a patient with no patience.
No patience, none, zero.
Yeah. So it's a what?
I don't think anybody would. It's Valhera. Valhera, I think is the provider.
Okay. Yeah, I've got I got one here too, and
looks similar.
Tonight we got some studies and stuff that we'll be talking about, and it just happens that one of them has to do with vape pens.
Oh, you got a purple battery too?
Yes, I've got a yellow one that I can't find. It's been missing for like 6 months.
I have a green one too, Dakotas. These are the best little batteries because you can turn them.
Is yours a tribal as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and yeah, I love it. Love them, and they last a long time. And they're $19.99 out here. I don't know what you pay for the Mountain Ontario.
Yeah, $20. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Now the thing I hate about them is the last one I had purchased, it leaked, and I thought, didn't they got that solved yet? But they don't.
I've never had one from the legal store leak on me.
Haven't
Ever.
you? Oh
Never.
Boy.
And the store that I go to,
I had that one. I had one that leaked so bad that when I pulled it out, it removed part of the battery with it.
I've only ever had that problem from the ones from the rest.
Oh, right. What about the?
I've never
What about the plugging?
No plugging either. And my store always gives me a receipt and sends it home with me and tells me if I ever have any problems to bring it back.
Really?
But no, I've never had any issues.
No,
and we use them like regular. Like I buy them every 2 weeks. Like every time we get paid, I buy them.
No issues. Dang.
None.
Well, I'll tell you, even if I preheat it, because we have the preheat option, and even with that, it doesn't matter. I found that the clog's so bad that your tongue can actually get sucked into the hole, and when you pull it out of your mouth, you can hear it popping.
Pop it out. Right? Yeah, no, I agree on that.
And then when it finally, because you've been sucking so hard on the damn thing, by the time that it breaks loose, it's like getting a super toke.
So you don't even know if you're high from the cannabis or if it's from your brain losing oxygen. From sucking so hard on the pen. Yeah, no, I've had issues with that before from other providers, but not the legal providers, like not the ones I've had. Yeah? I've been lucky. I've used the box hot ones. I've used the 1964s. This is, like I said, this one's a Valhera. We've got a Quest one here right now too.
That's what I've got right now. I was going to say
that looks like the Quest. That looks like the Quest one that we just finished with. It's nice. That's a good one. This is a Quest. Right, that one. And then this one is Flight. This one's Flight, and I had no issue with this one either. It's just not quite empty. And I got new. But no, the Quest one we've never. I think Taven, or I've had that last time. I can't remember.
I've never had a 1964 leak, and I'm gonna say a majority of them I didn't have a problem with. But yeah, some out there are just nasty. I won't go back to them.
I will say that there was one provider that I still won't use their stuff again. And every time I did, and then there was also we bought some pre-rolls the last time we bought pre-rolls. And Taven always takes them apart for his bong, right? Well, they were so full of stems and stalks, and when I lit one up, it would poof into it was all paper.
Wow.
Yep, and they were Palmero pre-rolls. I was so disappointed because they're a decent provider. Why I got them, but I never bought their pre-rolls before. But I'll tell you, I'll never buy their pre-rolls again. Not when it's paper and stalk and stemmed. When you open the joint up.
As I mentioned tonight, we got some studies and stuff we're going to go over, but just to remind everybody, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to share us on Facebook due to Facebook issues.
Yeah, they tell us that we're not
the on again, off again. You can't. We're not going to recommend you, and then like a week later, oh, we made a mistake. We're going to recommend you, and then like 3 days later, oh, you're not recommended anymore. And
would you like to verify? Just pay $1.29. It's on sale. Remember that one?
Oh, and that'll keep it alive if I pay for it. They'll recommend it if I pay for it.
Yeah, they'll recommend. They'll put a blue dot beside it, and recommend it to make it so that it's that it's verified. It's a verified account.
Right. Yeah, that's a verified account, but I don't see where that's But they may want to verify an account that they don't want to recommend.
Well, that's what I found funny. They told me that they wouldn't recommend the account, and then within a week later, they're asking me if I want to verify my account and become verified with a blue dot beside the account's name on the page. Yeah. Coffee with marijuana, and I'm like, last week you wouldn't recommend the page, and now you want me to pay you whatever it is to verify the page.
So as I mentioned, some studies. So tonight we're going to go over studies that include how cannabis can help with fatty liver disease, to helping to reduce crime. Now, what we haven't discussed yet, and we don't normally discuss Canadian politics unless it's cannabis related. Cannabis related on the quote.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up tonight. I was going to try and stay.
And as you know, not all our listeners know, but Canada, we had an election, so basically a year ago, and the Liberals won. And since then, there has been some people crossing the floor. And today, out of nowhere, that really blew a lot of people away. There was another Conservative member of Parliament to cross the floor to the Liberals.
The worst one ever, besides Michael Cooper. I think she is my second. Michael Cooper's my first least favorite Conservative. Well, besides Polyev, and then she was the next.
I couldn't believe. I was in like, what? And that is because we know her.
But I went, wow! I just, oh my god.
Yeah, because we know her as through the cannabis end of things, and because back in 2017, as far as back as 2017, I think this is what this is. Oh, hang on. No, I backed up too far.
Anti-women's rights.
Yeah.
Pro-conversion therapy. Voted against dental care.
Yeah. When it came to the cannabis end of things, she commented that it's going to, if we had the 4 plants, the growing of the 4 plants was going to allow little 12-year-old Johnny to put his cannabis in the toaster oven and smoke it. Like, what?
Remember, senators, do what we need. Don't legalize weed.
Yeah. With her poem as well.
Who makes a poem about fucking not legalizing cannabis? That fucking orange turd.
Yeah.
That's what she reminds me of. Even with her, when she walked in there with Carney State, all she reminded me was the Pillsbury Doughboy dressed up in red.
Well, here's an article right here, 2017. It's in the Strait in BC.
Trust me.
It's called the Roach of the Week. Conservative MP Marilyn Gladue say kids will smoke pot with toaster oven.
Oh my god! Like I said, besides Pierre Poilievre and Michael Cooper, she's like my least favorite fucking Conservative MP. Like when I seen that this morning, like my immediate fucking response was laughed out loud. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to say because anybody who knows me knows that Marilyn Gladue is my most least favorite person in the fucking world because of her little senators do what we need and don't legalize weed. I can still remember that. It just drives me insane.
Yeah.
Do what we need. And now she's gonna what? Backpedal? Oh, I wasn't a convoy supporter. I'm not anti-vax. I didn't want nothing.
Well, I saw before the show that the Conservative members were ripping into her because of what she'd been saying lately about these floor crossers, all these people who have been crossing the floor, and that they should be having these by-elections. But so they're going at her about that. But it was on the cannabis issue, is why I was bringing it up.
Like that's what I mean. She's a horrible, horrible person because she was probably one of the loudest conservatives when it came time to legalize cannabis.
Yeah.
Like standing up against it. Like, and she was the only conservative that was ever able to put a private members bill through. Like, but again, because of that, it's not like she was a backbencher either. When she spoke, the rest of the conservatives came out.
Okay, where are we? Right there, I think I've got the
she's a horrible.
Yeah, here's her quote. She says that we have already established that this legislation, which is on the legalization of cannabis, would put marijuana in the hands of children, not just with the 15 joints that 12-year-olds can have.
Oh my
God.
God.
With the 4 plants per household. So little Johnny can put some in the toaster oven and smoke it up. I
know. There's nothing more ridiculous than that. Like I said, there's just nothing that I don't even. Like I have to wonder. And it's not like the Liberals are desperate for fucking crossovers. They don't really need them. So I don't know what the hell they're thinking for taking her under the fucking tent. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think it's
now
going
she
to cause
says that Colorado that they had a 32% increase in drug impaired driving. Now I know that we're gonna there is a study on some cannabis driving that I've got on the list there tonight, and now she raises issues about the treaties at this time. I was talking to somebody on yesterday about the treaties, and I agree with what they said. And with the treaties is that the medical use is perfectly fine. There's no issue with that. When it comes to the treaties, it's when it comes to the legalization of it, because it's not in the treaties. And they said that that's the issue, is because they don't look at that as being supported by the UN, even though other countries are doing it.
But there's very small comparison between medical and recreational. Anyway,
it's not a treaty. I've got a one report. If we get to it tonight, it's an article, and it's written by a fella.
But that's why they're being
talking about. Yeah, he's talking about human rights and access to medical use of cannabis and that, and about CBD.
Right. Well, I know that was something they were going to try and, like, in the States you can buy CBD in the gas stations, right? But is it really CBD?
Yeah, they're selling at Circle K in the U.S. You can't get it at Circle K here in Canada.
No,
but they are connected to licensed producers.
So you have to wonder about that and how that kind of
Well, we'll see what Miss Glad do to finish up with her. We'll see how she makes out on the everything file, but the cannabis file is usually what we focus on. So, and I mentioned
it's not something that's coming up, so you know what I mean. Like it's already legalized. There's not a whole lot that she can do about it.
Yeah, and I haven't read into any in depth of the reasoning behind it and what each side is saying.
I don't think anybody knows. They're all like
I've seen something posted by a couple conservative people but I haven't seen anything from a liberal person. I haven't actually even gone looking for it because it hadn't shown up in my news feed.
Well, what she's basically said is because for her riding, which is Scarborough, because of the steel and the cars and everything, that she feels that she needs to be working with the government with her engineering background to try and help her and represent her area for the best way. And the only way she sees forward with that is under Carney's leadership. That's the explanation she gave. Kevin, can you put this for me for 15 minutes or for 5 minutes, please? Sorry. But yeah, that's the explanation she gave. So
okay.
Right? 5 minutes. You have to roll it up like that and put it in the microwave for 5 minutes. Thanks.
Do you have to mist it first?
No, you just have to make sure you take the Scentsy stink bag out of it because it's a Scentsy one.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just beads and stuff. I got a infrared heating pad coming tomorrow because that doesn't stay hot long enough or get hot enough. Nothing seems to be hot enough, and then it's too hot.
Okay, now as I mentioned, study cannabis and the fatty liver disease. They say it's a serious health condition involving a buildup of fat on a person's liver, and there's two types. One's caused by heavy drinking, and the other one is caused by different contributing factors, including but not limited to diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, pharmaceutical drug consumption, and infections. I know that my doctor in the early when I was first diagnosed with Crohn's, I ended up with a liver disease, and they had to do the biopsy on me, and he stuck the needle, which was like huge, barely fit on the tray. I don't know if it even fit on the tray, and stick it in through between my rib cages, in between my ribs, and had me breathe certain ways, so I was like awake during the whole thing. He just gave me a local anesthetic in that spot and then stuck it in. So
there be no fucking way. No fucking way. No.
They used let's see, CBD, CBG, and the studies were published in the British Journal Pharmacology. Let's see, they used mice, just so you know.
They're always using mice.
They said that CBD and CBG treatments improves the glycemic control, reduce hepatic triglycerides, and normalize some lipids without affecting the energy. So, and a lot much more big words in here.
Don't you love that? They make it so you can't even understand how you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's the thing, eh?
Some lipids of this thing and fucking flip it of that thing, but I don't know what the fuck I just said.
They said here these findings identify a novel endocannabinoid system independent mechanism by which CBD and CBG enhance this hepatic energy buffering and other things as well. They say it's contributing to improved liver lipid handling and supporting phytocannabinoids as promising therapeutics.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, that was, and as I said, that was done on mice.
Well, again, they're doing the studies on mice, which I appreciate. But I mean, how many years are they going to continue to do studies on mice when we already have it been legalized and have human consumption in Canada being used legally for how many years they could be using human? I mean, I know there is human studies being done too, but come on with the mice.
Yeah, I think that's sort of one of the normal routes to do it on a mouse, and go from there before they get into human trials.
Well, I understand that, but again, how many years have we been using mice? And they've
like
been
we know that. Yeah.
I just kind of find it odd that they just continually keep going back to mice. I guess I just find it odd.
Now, I guess this isn't really a study, but it's something that has been building up slowly but surely when it comes to the cannabis, and that is impaired driving. And they say that they have discovered or created something. It's federally funded study. Well, it is a study, so there you go. Reveals cannabis breathalyzer breakthrough with a 3D printed roadside tool able to detect THC. They say it's portable and low cost, and it doesn't need secondary lab analysis. It was created by, the study was done by a university, just so you know, in Virginia. And as we know, when it comes to this, they say they need this testing because the more states are legalizing. We heard the same things here, right?
Yeah. But again, they were supposed to bring those silly machines that they had in Australia to Canada too, and we never did so.
Yeah.
Because they were too expensive and they were too. Can't even remember. They spent a whole pile of money on research on them. I know that much.
Now they also mention here that detects THC, the Delta 9, CBD, and CBN.
Oh.
Yeah. And it can detect. It was able to detect 10 to 100 nanograms of cannabinoids.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
which
crazy.
the legal limit here is 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they have the warning sign, the warning level, like to do with alcohol and all that. Let's see what else. They say overall, this project established fundamental data supporting the feasibility of a portable, low-cost, colorimetric tool for detecting cannabinoids using 3D printed cartridges and readily accessible reagent. While additionally, validation and field-oriented development are needed. These findings provide a proof of concept framework for future roadside or point collection.
Right.
But still, they do all this. But you know what the end result is? There's still nothing that says what the actual, there's no scientific data showing what the actual impairment is, like how we haven't established and tested on the alcohol end of things. We have an arbitrary number when it comes to cannabis.
Well, that's exactly it. They don't absolutely have like anything. You're looking for anything. Put this away. Like, I mean, they've come up with all these ideas and all these, studies and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, they've got no end solution and nothing that's actually being used that they can use, like with actual proof, like actual results, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, they say here in 2023, a federally funded report by researchers at the University of Colorado and another place concluded that evidence does not support the idea that detecting THC in breath as a single measurement could reliably indicate recent cannabis.
Well, no, because I could be blowing on.
Well, they don't support that.
Nicotine, like the nicotine could come up like positive as the same thing.
Yeah.
No, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, and then a 2024 DOJ report said that states may need to get away from the idea that of the THC levels are even a reliable indicator of impairment. So that's the DOJ saying that the states shouldn't even rely on that as an indication of being impaired.
Well, what do they have that actually links THC to impairment?
What's that?
What study do they have that links THC to impairment? Like, what do they have for human studies that actually links THC to impairment? They want to bring in CBD and CBHs, which we know doesn't cause much of an impairment to when usage of cannabis per se. It's more the THC levels that everybody's screaming about. But what's their actual proof of any link to THC to impairment?
They have here that in a separate report last year, the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said there's relatively little research backing the idea that THC concentration in the blood can be used to determine impairment.
Remember when Stephen Harper was trying to do that study finding the harms on cannabis, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared? Like, that's what I mean. Like, they spend money trying to find the harms, but they can never absolutely link THC to impairment. The studies aren't. I'd like to find one because I don't think I've ever seen where they've actually got like scientific proof that THC leads to straight impairment.
Yeah. Oh, so it'd be it's
like they want to put
what it is. They have that, and until someone can get a law, challenge that.
Well, they've been comparing
with a good case. Like there's been
for years, right? Like it's the same with prohibition, and I think it goes back to prohibition. I think it goes back to the fact they prohibited liquor, and then they prohibited cannabis after liquor, and they've been comparing cannabis to to liquor since Prohibition. And it's apples to oranges. We both know that the impairments are absolutely two separate entities altogether. Mixing the two together for some people is absolutely not a great thing to do. There are all kinds of different things because everything can, conversely affects everybody differently, whether it's alcohol or cannabis. But I think continually trying to compare the two, whether it's between the laws with impaired driving, whether it's in the impairment issues when they're non-comparable, I think we need to start steering people away from trying to compare the two, because as long as we keep in that cycle of comparing the two, we're going to end up with the same results of people thinking that cannabis is impairing. And there's absolutely no proof that THC leads to impairments.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break. I see it's the bottom of the hour. And when we get back from break, we're going to be talking more about cannabis and driving on something that I've got here as well in front of me. So we'll get into that when we get back. And other than that, this is Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca. And we will see you in, I don't know. It depends on what commercial I'm going to pick. They're all pretty close. They're all under 3 minutes. So, all right, let's get back to the commercial break.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Re-rolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching the Pace Radio Show. Before the break, Tamara, we were talking about cannabis and driving. And I said that I had some more information on driving with cannabis. We got back from the break. How's your cow doing?
Moving all over, because everything's we're just moving it around where the pain goes. It's kind of like just everywhere. So my knee, just keep on going. Don't mind me. I'm just moving the cow.
All right. Okay. All right. So what they have found is that frequent cannabis users show no driving impairment the morning after smoking cannabis the night before, according to the study. And as we know, cannabis stays in the system. People can get busted for impaired driving friggin' weeks afterwards because of the level of the amount of THC that's in the system sticks to the fat tissue in our bodies.
It can stay in your system for up to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You can have smoked like a very limited, like not even a very big amount, and still 6 weeks later, just like drug test positive for cannabis.
Yeah. Well, a former host here on the network, he was tested a month afterwards because he was driving truck, and he still tested positive.
Yep.
So, this is good to see where this report says that the next day, they say 12 to 15 hours after. So what they did, they took 65 frequent cannabis users who smoked the night before and 65 non-users. And they said that the researchers found no significant differences in driving performance between the two groups. And all the drivers, their blood and THC levels were above 2 nanograms, which is the legal limit in the UK. Ours is 5. Right. So,
right.
Yeah.
And they tested people that had no THC in their systems at all, right?
Yeah. The non-users.
And they tested the same.
Yeah. They say the regular cannabis use group showed no significant impairment in driving performance 12 to 15 hours after the last cannabis use the night before compared to the control group. Blood and oral fluid THC concentrations may not be an accurate correlate of driving behavior. So there you go.
Well, again, like if you're a shitty driver, you're just a shitty driver.
Yeah. And they say that the findings suggest that the current legal thresholds of THC may not accurately reflect the actual driving. Now, the participants in the cannabis group, what did they smoke? Their THC average was 30%. CBD was only 0.6. So they said they inhaled approximately 159 milligrams of THC. They completed 4 driving scenarios, including weaving, speed control, reaction time, and following distance.
I found it off the audit because somebody showed me, I think I already said this a few shows ago, that I was handed some joints at cannabis store that said they were 14.7% CBD.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like, where did that get when did CBDs could become that high in levels?
Yeah, really? You said 17%?
14.7%.
Oh, 14.
But even that's high, like for CBD. I just thought it was odd.
Mm.
Well, you never know with technology these days.
There's something here I thought that might be. Okay, no. So they took cannabis users and non-cannabis users and tested them the day after, and there's lots of people who can drink Friday night and they'll be impaired Saturday morning on the way home. I've been stopped. I've been stopped by ride programs at 8:00 in the morning, and that's what they said. And I asked, they said, "Oh yeah, people heading home the next day."
Yeah, that's because the people don't realize that even if you don't like alcohol, takes 24 hours to get out of your system, right? But if you're up till like 8:00 in the morning partying your ass off and you're still drunk, you're not even sleeping. You're just passing out. So your body's not even going into emotion, and you have to like be off of liquor for at least minimum 8 hours before you should be driving. So if you drank till 3:00 and you're getting up at 8:00 in the morning and driving, you're still drunk. You shouldn't be driving or going to work. And how many times, like back in the day, did I stay up partying until 3:00 in the morning, go rolling into work at 8:00 in the morning?
Yeah, feeling like shit, eh?
Still drunk, like woo! Like, I've been there, that's for sure, but hey, I made it. God damn, those
Yeah.
are the days. We're talking like the 80s. So yeah, we're talking a long time.
Correct. Okay, now from that, we're going to move on, as I mentioned earlier, vape pens.
All right.
Vape pens. What are they saying about vape pens?
Oh, I'm sure nothing good. I mean, why would they say anything good about anything we like?
Well, look. Well, this is. I'm gonna edit this line, this first line here, just lightly, okay? But they say the use of cartridges containing THC is linked to the earlier development of scromiting, according to the newly published study from the University of California.
Okay, what the fuck is
what is scromiting?
I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is this some new generational word? Scromiting? Does it mean cow? Is it like, you know, like
it is a new word.
Oh my god, it sounds ridiculous.
It is a way, well, according to the information I have read on, it is the new word for cannabis hymesis syndrome, CHS.
It sounds as crazy as the word. Jesus Christ. Are you scromiting today here? Do you have
You have to well, I'm talking here. If you got the phone in front of you.
Oh my god, I just want to die. Are you kidding me?
Scromiting.
Like, that's killing me. Like, I'm dying. If I wasn't in so much pain, I'm sure I'd be making up some stupid, ridiculous joke about this. But I can't even think about scromiting. There's got to be something. I'll come up with something.
Yeah, I'll just do a quick little search.
Like, it doesn't even sound like cannabis hypothesis. Like scromiting. Like, who in the fuck came up with that? Sounds like fucking something you do with a fish and squeaking in Nova Scotia. Kiss a fish. Scromiting. Are you kissing a fish?
Okay. This is in USA Today.
Of course it is. God, of course it is.
What is scromiting? New medical slang divides health experts, and what it is it's slang for this cannabinoid hymesis syndrome.
And what are the symptoms?
What's the new word for it?
Scooting across the floor, scromiting.
That's what. Do you know what the symptoms are for the CHS?
No, what are they?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So the CHS, what that is, as far as the way they describe it, is uncontrollable vomiting. It's circular vomiting. You can't stop throwing up. And they say it's overload on your cannabinoid system. Yeah. It's the scromiting is combining the word vomiting and screaming.
And what? And what?
Because it can cause patients to scream while they throw up. And it's gaining the word itself is gaining momentum.
I just can't even anymore.
Yeah.
You're killing me here. Scromiting. He's fucking vomiting and screaming at this. What in the actual fuck? What is wrong with people?
Check it out.
No, I think I'm good. Oh, Jesus.
I have talked to a fella. I know a fella personally who suffers from scromiting. He went to the hospital because he couldn't stop throwing up, and they told him that that's what he had. They used CHS at the time, but that's what they told him he had. And he said, what? Like, fuck that type thing, right?
Did he quit smoking cannabis?
What's that?
Has he stopped smoking cannabis?
Well, yes, because he went frig that, and he started smoking again after he got out of the hospital.
And he started strumming again.
Yeah, he went back to the hospital. I got readmitted to the hospital. So he stopped altogether. He says, I can't do anything. I can't do edibles or nothing. He's pissed.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do they not, maybe, is it not like the provider poisoning, some sort of poisoning?
Well, some articles that I have read on it has mentioned about pesticides.
Because I mean, how
Some of
many
it
years?
was leaning towards neem oil.
Neem oil,
Now we know here in Canada, there's over 100 pesticides that are legally allowed to be used by LPs.
But we often suggested neem oil too, and then I found out how toxic neem oil is.
Yeah,
and you should use neem oil.
And I know down in the U.S. they've had problems with pesticides as well when it comes to an overload of them.
Yeah.
So
well, like I said, I can't imagine. But then again, like people are allergic to other things. We're all individuals. Like here I am laughing, which is kind of rude now that I think about it. Because who am I? Who am I to say? I mean, the word's ridiculous. I think that's
you reacted like a lot of other people, and
right.
I always do mention. I always do mention that the fellow who I know.
Yeah, and again, like I'm not trying to dissuade his story or invalidate his story or that these facts are actual. I just think the word they're using, I just found kind of ridiculous, to be fair. Because the first thing you think of is like, what is that? Kissing a fish? Like you don't think of like that's the first thing I thought of. Strumming.
Well, it's screaming, vomiting.
I know, I understand it now. But, when you're screeching too, you're kissing a fish. So I mean,
but it really, it can, to some people, it could sound really scary.
Oh, I could imagine.
Yeah. Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. People have pronouncing problems pronouncing. Strumming is easy.
Is that what people are hearing in the forest dark at night? People are, throwing up in the forest and screeching.
No, back to the vape cartridges. Okay, back to the vape cartridges.
Is it called strumming?
Researchers surveyed 1,134 people with CHS and found that different methods of consuming cannabis made no difference in the severity of the symptoms. And that's what this guy was telling me. Can't do edibles, it can't vaporize or anything. Okay? So he says, but it says here vape cartridges were associated with a shorter time to symptom development compared to other products. So they're saying you get CHS from edibles. You just can get it quicker using these vape cartridges.
I don't even know what to say because, like I said, I don't want to invalidate anybody's experience. It just sounds like
yeah. Now it says CHS. Okay, here's an explanation of it. CHS. It is a condition that results in patients experiencing repeated and severe bouts of nausea, abdominal pain, and vomiting. It has been linked in previous research to the heavy and daily use of cannabis products. And symptoms present in 3 stages: the prodromal phase, the hypermetric phase, and the recovery phase.
But how long is this supposed to last? How long does it last? I guess this guy wouldn't know anymore because he.
Well, they said that in the
episodes last. Like,
well, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that right here. In the prodromal phase, patients generally experience morning sickness, anxiety, and mild abdominal discomfort. This phase can persist for several years and often agitated by continued cannabis use. They say in the next phase, the hypermetric stage, they report episodes of intense vomiting and abdominal pain, have a reduced level of food intake, which often results in weight loss, and are prone to taking very hot showers or baths to
So it
ease the
sounds like it's
symptoms.
lasting like hours and hours and hours and
Yeah.
days.
They say this stage usually comes to an end when cannabis use is stopped.
So if you keep smoking, you're just going to keep puking. And meanwhile, you're puking, so you're still smoking, thinking that the cannabis is going to stop your nausea. And all you're doing is making yourself sicker.
Yeah. They say the recovery stage signals a return to normality for the patient and can last for weeks or months. However, the symptoms of CHS are seen to return with the resumption of cannabis use, even after you've done gone through all of the stuff. And the survey revealed that at least 96% of patients with CHS use cannabis at least once every day, and around 45% said that before their symptoms started, they had used cannabis 6 or more times per day.
I don't know what to say because that means we're all at risk of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My number's so above all that stuff. Now, I just on one other note on this, on Sunday, this coming Sunday night at 8:00, you know Dr. Ethan Russo?
Yes.
Okay. One of our content providers on the Veterans Action Council, based out of the U.S., they have all kinds of people who come and speak at their roundtables. This we're airing one with Dr. Russo, as I mentioned, and this was done, I think, approximately about a year ago, and it's all on CHS. So anybody wants to listen to a cannabis researcher talk about it, I haven't seen it personally to know which way he talks about it on there, but it'll be there. It'll be airing on Sunday night.
The expert that would be the one to speak on it. That's how I feel.
Exactly.
Again, like I said, the doctors that are speaking on it, are they just making something up to go along with because we don't have any information? They don't have any education on cannabinoid systems or how it's supposed to work. Are they just making excuses or making up?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If they've got no exposure to cannabinoids, how do they know that this symptoms and this whatever is what it is? If we've got absolutely no background on it.
They say that they say that patients reported using around 10 grams of cannabis per week, with most products coming in the form of vape cartridges or flour. Patients source their products.
Were they eating properly? Were they going to parties? Were they taking MDMA? What else were they doing?
Well, it just says here, I don't know, I've got to that part. Patients source their products from licensed and unlicensed dispensaries, as well as from home grows, with 62% purchasing from licensed dispensaries. And most of these people had used cannabis for more than 3 years.
I know. Yeah. How many people is there? Thousands or just a few?
Well, they did a study of 1,100 people.
Okay, so 1,100 people all went out, did mushrooms, got high on something else, then got sick.
As always, this is involved in all studies, okay? There's usually always this little disclaimer thing. It says, while the study shows an association between vaping and earlier CHS onset, the researchers noted it does not prove that vaping directly causes the condition to develop more quickly. They suggested several possible factors, including higher THC concentrations.
It's always written in the small print.
Yeah, faster absorption. Now,
cannabis leads to hyperpsychosis, whatever scratchy or
what I've
oh
what
my
I've
god.
something that wasn't touched on that whole report and any other report that I've seen, really. They talk about vaping, cartridges, and they talk about flour. That's the most consumed way. Now they said it didn't matter which different sources or different ways it was consumed, but it didn't really come out and mention, like, if you squish your own rosin at home.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Now it
I'm not
is
using
high. It would be high THC, so they might say that would be all lumped in there together. But
they're not taking a full valued study, as far as I'm concerned. They're not even talking, and they never have talked to people that can consume cannabis as a medicine already. They've never gone to people that have
yeah,
taught them to, like them getting an email screaming at them, like, you realize this, this, and this. Oh, and then they look it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not listening to the people that use cannabis.
They say the numbers increased from 4.4 cases per 100,000 visits to hospitals in 2016 to 22.3 cases per 100,000 visits, and have peaked at 33 cases
more
in the
liars
early 2020s. Huh?
I'm gonna call bullshit. I'm gonna say there's just a few more liars that went into the hospital, snorted some coke, and got sick, and now they're blaming it on weed.
Yeah, that I don't know. They don't mention anything about coke in there, so. But,
right, like.
So yeah, it's where was it in the 70s? Where was it in the 80s? Where was it in the 90s?
That's what I'm asking. Where are all these fancy screeching fucking scromming?
Is scromming greening out? Greening out, it doesn't even sound like scromming to me.
No, greening out just means you just felt uncomfortable, and usually, like, like you feel uncomfortable and probably sweat a little bit. And you might
got a
puke,
little hot. Yeah, you got too high.
Drinking. Like, you know what scromming sounds like to me? Somebody went out, got super drunk, and took some pills, and then fucking smoked some weed, and then couldn't stop puking. Even if it was like, those little white crosses that we used to take, because like I used to, like, those little, like, or even if it was like acetaminophen or an aspirin to get rid of the headache that they were drinking with, and they smoked some weed. I don't know. I'm calling.
I know. I'll keep scratching my head on this because, like I said, I know somebody.
I know you do. I absolutely know you do. I'm not saying that he's invalid, but
no, I know.
I don't know. Like, that's one person, and how many other people do we know that smoke like way more chronic than he, maybe this person did or has. I mean, maybe this guy's an old guy.
Well, no, we know some people.
He just oversmoked himself.
Could you, like, we know some people who smoke cannons, and could you just imagine them all of a sudden coming down with scromming?
Could you imagine? That would be like me. I've been smoking cannabis since 1989. All of a sudden, I start scromming. I don't even know what I did with myself. Yeah. Nobody would be able to stand me. Nobody would be able to stand me. Let's put it that way. I'd be like the troll in the fridge. So, cannabis saves you guys from me. Like, trust me.
Okay.
way more of a troll than I am.
Let's see where we're going to come back.
But again, like I said, it's so unusual that all these new terminologies and all these new symptoms and all these new things have come up since cannabis legalization. But
that's the thing. Correct.
I mean, sure, cannabis has changed, and yes, they've hybrids and they've crossbred it, and yes, they've done a little tweaking here and there, and they've changed things. But I can't see a plant being changed so much that all of a sudden it's causing some harm. I have a hard time with that, I guess.
Especially this vomiting, is just
basically saying it's harming people. And like, for all those years we've stood up and said cannabis doesn't harm anybody, it's never killed anybody in the history of man. Yeah. And here we got people that are scromming. Well, that's harmful.
Well, I just thought of a comparison, because the fact that it's almost 420 and the Global Marijuana March starts usually the first week of May. And I put that song together about the Global Marijuana March, and the pictures in the video. Like, we we had tens of thousands of people, 40, 50,000 people that were at these events. That would mean that, according to that report, at least 20 people, somewhere around 20 people, suffered from scromiting that day.
Yeah, right. And not one of them. You didn't see people scromiting anywhere. Like, you didn't see people being pulled off the side, being pulled into an ambulance. Oh, this poor guy's scromiting. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to. We're
All
gonna.
I see is a guy fishing a fish.
It's already break time. We spent that whole segment talking about scromining. But hey, people don't learn about these things unless you speak up, talk about them. So.
And at least we're laughing about it, so at least we're educating with a little humor.
Well, hey, and we're patients, and you got your support cow there.
I got my support cow going.
I have to talk to people. I have to talk to people about shit because of my condition with my Crohn's disease. So
yeah, of course we will.
And we can learn to laugh about our condition. Make jokes about it.
We have no choice. Because if we didn't laugh, we'd be crying all the fucking time, complaining all the time. Like, could you imagine? I complain enough as it is. Like, really, like let me laugh every once in a while. Especially when I'm in this much fucking pain. So I'm laughing or I'd be crying. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. When we get back, we're going to find out about another benefit of cannabis. And we'll be back in about just a little less than 3 minutes. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're presently live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, you're back with the Pace Radio Show, and we're talking about the benefits of cannabis, some of the studies and reports that show up in the news. And before break, we were talking about scromiting. And for those who know about scromiting, you can check it out. SCRO, scrom, MITTING, scromiting.
And then you can laugh really hard and let us know what you think.
And one more note on that, just a reminder, scromiting is the new term for CHS, cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. Sunday night, 8 p.m. here on the Pace Network, you can find an interview that the Veterans Action Council, veterans out of the U.S. who are doing fantastic work. What can I tell you? They're going to be talking to Dr. Ethan Russo about CHS. It's a recording. It's about a year old, so be able to take a look at that and see what he says about it. So, and moving from there, who would have ever thought this? More cannabis could mean less crime. Reports say yes. That's right. Bring in more cannabis, get less crime. They said that they found that legalizing recreational adult use cannabis was associated with lower violent crime rates, while medical cannabis legalization was linked to reductions in property crime. Good stuff. Yes. Violent crime is... What's that?
Anytime that you can turn down the volume bit. I think we talked about a study a couple weeks ago about how the difference in alcohol consumption, comparably, has dropped, and they're linking that to cannabis legalization. And I think alcohol leads to domestic violence. I think that alcohol leads to violence, where cannabis, I'm having a hard time believing that it has a lot to do with violence, right? Like most people that smoke cannabis, like myself, hit the snacks and pass out in a chair. I've never once seen anybody, I hear break-ins to cannabis stores, but I don't know if that's that would be a violent offense, of course, but it's probably the most violent offense I've heard when it comes to cannabis would be a break-in or a robbery of a cannabis store.
Yeah.
But again, I think that the consumption of alcohol lowering because of the use of cannabis being linked to that. It's being lowered, right?
Yeah.
I think it's been beneficial to.
That's part of the effects of the less.
Well, again, like I said, when people are drinking less, they're not fighting as much. Like people have a tendency to argue and fight when they're drinking. I don't know what it is. Some people are happy-go-lucky. Alcohol doesn't do that to people. But some people, alcohol turns into a completely different monster. Yeah. Let's be fair.
They say violent crime was defined as aggravated assault, murder, rape, and robbery, while property crime included larceny, burglary, and motor vehicle theft. There you go. So more cannabis, friendlier, happier people.
Yeah, more educated.
Well, that tells me.
I agree. And they also say that people with higher educations are the ones that are consuming cannabis as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know. Really beans, but you know how they used to always say that people that smoked cannabis were stoners and weren't educated and were playing video games in their mother's basement. So that's changed.
Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you saw in the report. This is something that would be nice if it was available in Canada. It would be nice, obviously. It needs some adjustment as well. But in the U.S., with the Medicare, there was an announcement that they are going to start covering hemp, THC, and CBD products under the Medicare and Medicaid services. That's not happening here in Canada.
No, but I also know that people with Medicaid are also being charged $15,000 for 5 stitches.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not, yeah.
So you
I
want to
don't
cover
doubt
Canada,
that.
you're going to charge somebody $15,000 to get stitches? Like, I don't know. I think I'd
Yeah,
rather pay for my
yeah.
medicine.
No, but I'm not talking about their healthcare system. I'm just talking about just this program itself.
I know, but what's going to be the copay on that?
The co-payment? Well, they get this is where the numbers are low. As I said, it needs to be improved. But they're going to allow them up to $500 worth of hemp-derived products each year for eligible patients. That's the key word too, as well.
But it's not
Eligible
cannabis-derived products; it's hemp-derived products.
It's what? Hemp-derived products, correct? And it should be
So,
cannabis. So I said the system needs to be worked on.
I'm such a pessimist. I've got it all figured out before you even said it. It's gonna be lame. I know. I'm talking about this. Yeah.
Now, I'd like to see something like, our vets, right? Our vets get X amount for medical purposes. It'd be nice to see something where patients had, some type of coverage, right? Where
I think that if I think that it should be across the board. I think that any medical patient in Canada that's using cannabis for medical purposes should be benefited the same amount of money that the veterans are allotted. We are all patients. I think that we should be treated equally with equity. I'm not saying that they shouldn't deserve more, but I'm thinking that they're getting cut back to $6.50 per gram price per market price as it is. The least they could do is help us with $3. Come on. And you have to be legally licensed, registered, but then you have to be going through an LP and all the same shit that they've got to go through. Like, it's not easy for them
to go through. And there are some products.
It's easy for them to get reimbursed for their cannabis. Like, they got to fuck around. It's a shit show too, right?
There are some products that they have access to that we don't, like in the stores and stuff. Now, here's another.
But there's also a study out of the States. We'll go back to that.
Yeah, here's another spot where this
there's a new study out of the States that's actually rolling back the studies on the benefits of cannabis for PTSD. It was on CBC last week.
They're cutting back on those studies.
No, there's a new study out that was done by some university in the States. It was on CBC last week. That is rolling back, basically saying there's absolutely no benefits for PTSD from cannabis use. Absolutely.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah. So
that's interesting. That's just one report. We put that up against the many that say the opposite.
I know, right? Yeah. So again, you've got a new government with a new regime coming in, wanting to reclassify it, but also not really classify it.
Yeah, well, it's been delayed. Obviously, the reclassification. I did receive some updated information on it. But now here's another spot that needs some fixing. Inhalation preparations are not allowed, and products can contain no more than 0.3% THC by dry weight.
Well, they wouldn't. They're hemp products.
Like what?
They wouldn't even have to worry about them fucking having that much. We lucky if 0.03%.
Yeah, like
3%. Woohoo! Like,
no, just so you know, that THC limit could potentially change. It could be increased. 0.4.
1.1.
No, from 0.3 to 0.4.
Oh my god. That's because they got a better
standard. But I would sort of say, does this also point to them, the U.S. government, saying that they recognize hemp-derived products for medical benefits? Something that we don't have here in Canada.
Yeah, but
even for cannabis.
Right. But again, you can't smoke hemp. You get the same benefits from it. You can't smoke hemp to get the same benefits you do from cannabis. So it's again like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah. So, but we need a program
for CBD, like for CBD consumption. Hemp, for sure can have benefits.
Yeah.
But again, if you're putting it as a hemp and you only allow like 4 THC, hemp doesn't have T at any higher levels. So if you're only growing hemp, that's the whole basis of the word. They're saying hemp. They're not even using the word cannabis.
No, they're using the word. And being that part of the EO, the executive order, was banning hemp-derived products.
Right. But hemp-derived products are what?
And they're allowing it this way, so.
Because you can't smoke hemp. Like, we both know you can't really smoke hemp. I mean, sure, what are you going to smoke? The leaves? Most hemps are full of seeds. What are you going to smoke? The seeds? Like, I've never seen a hemp product that's not full of nothing but seeds and long, spindly leaves.
Crack on pop.
Right? So it's not like you're going to grab a bud off a fucking hemp plant and be able to smoke it, because it's going to be full of seeds, or it's going to be post seeds, and it's going to be full of seed pods, and oh my Christ, like, what a joke.
In the end, the program has a lot of flaws, but the idea of making access available to patients through a government program,
I think it's a waste of taxpayers'
for coverage, medicinal coverage. It's something we don't have.
I agree if it said cannabis and it wasn't hemp.
Yeah, cannabis. Yeah, correct. And
because
it's just it's like our legalization. A lot of us are happy it's here, but boy, oh boy, it still needs a lot of improvement.
Well, yeah, and again, like if you're talking about medicinal hemp or medicinal cannabis, you're talking to two different apples,
two different plants.
Two different strains, two different types of two different types of apples. You got Granny Smith and you got Macintosh, right? Like it's the same fucking shit. Like I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's all in the wording, and I guess as long as you want to get it through legislation, and once you get it through legislation and have it as hemp, then I guess you can move forward with cannabis. It's baby steps, I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one other myth. We're gonna move on to another story, another study here, and myth. I guess I called it, and that is the fact that not only I'm sure Ms. Gladue was part of this during her time in the early days, said that what about what she said? What about the children? So what about the teenagers, the youth access, the kids, the young teens are going to Johnny's going to be taking his smoke and putting it. His cannabis in the toaster oven and smoking it, right? Okay, so part of that
just showed that woman never had a childhood.
This would sort of lean probably towards, she would say that the effect of the kids, and this report says that no increase in problematic teen use after cannabis legalization. Huge. This is a huge study, they say. Researchers analyzed 2.9 million inpatients discharge records from adolescents of age 10 to 17 across 13 U.S. states between 2008 and 2020, examining whether the state's cannabis legalization affected the prevalence of cannabis use disorder. Ooh. Cannabis use disorder. You know what CUD is? Is it?
No.
Okay. Okay. Now they say CUD, cannabis use disorder, is diagnosed in patients who meet at least 2 of the 11 criteria required by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The condition is defined by a persistent cannabis use despite clinical significant impairment. Oh. Okay. They say that this multi-state analysis of the adolescents' inpatient encounters across 13 U.S. states between 2008 and 2020 found no consistent evidence that state non-medical cannabis legalization was associated with an increase in the prevalence of CUD diagnosis among adolescents across multiple models and demographic subgroups. The analysis consistently found a null association, suggesting that the prevalence of this clinical diagnosis remained stable following major policy shifts.
Yeah, I don't see that we've got like headline news that we've got kids falling over and jumping off bridges, smoking cannabis and causing all kinds of havoc. But we knew that. We knew that was going to be a non-issue. They just wouldn't believe us.
Yeah, exactly. And as I say, it's growing. It's a growing body, body of evidence. People now
smoke cannabis than probably did before. Just more people are more apt to be more open about it, right? So you might have thought that there's there's an uptick in people that are using cannabis, but there really isn't. There's just more people that are consuming it in the open. There's more ways of tracking it now because they have legal stores where people are buying it from. So they can keep better statistics on projection, on marketing, right? So again, I don't think any more people are actually smoking cannabis that were probably smoking it before legalization. I just think that people are more openly doing it.
More openly doing it. Now, they say that recent data from Germany showed that youth cannabis use among teenagers, that's 12 to 17, declined after adult use legislation.
It's no longer a taboo.
Yeah.
You really find that. You find that even as you get older, right? Once you're legal age, it's not so fucking fun to get drunk, to drink anymore because now it's not a big thing, right? And I think it's the same when cannabis became legal. I don't think it became such a taboo that it made it so that it was so appealing.
Now, they say that according to U.S. data, they say state regulators, they have conducted 7,800 compliance checks of licensed cannabis establishments. And they found that 94% of the cases, the minors were denied access to cannabis use. So they're directing that to the fact that because of the cannabis stores, like you mentioned, they're not getting that access.
That too, kids aren't getting that access because they are blocked from the 19 and over.
Yeah, and as we've talked,
and there's more access to MDMA, to meth and stuff on the streets than there is for them now, which I think is a problem. Why I think we should legalize and regulate all drugs because then it gets them all off the streets and away from them. If you really want to protect the children, you don't just legalize the most harmless of all substances and put it behind doors. You take the hardest ones out first, like heroin and crack and cocaine and all these things that are causing all these addiction problems, right?
Yeah.
At least if people are going to use drugs, because nice people use drugs, at least let them be safe while they're doing it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop people from doing drugs. They're just not.
No. Okay, what else we got here? Studies. Here we go. Probably our last one before we wrap things up.
I'm just making a mess.
Yeah. Daily use of FDA-approved CBD formulation increases body mass index in anorexia patients.
That's, I guess, good.
Yeah.
RFK approved.
Oh, I see what they were using. Okay. They were using Epidiolex. That's the FDA approved plant-based formula.
Oh, so they were using pharmaceutically.
Correct. That's what they were using. That comes from it's a big company too.
Moderna.
I can't think of it offhand.
Moderna? Pfizer?
No.
Campbell soup?
No. No, it's FDA approved. CBD.
Well, there's several that are
it's for epilepsy. It's for epilepsy is what it came for, what it was originally created.
Oh, so it's an antipsychotic then.
Yeah. And it has some cannabis whole plant stuff in it or something, I believe. Let's see. They said that they took 32 women diagnosed with anorexia, so no mice, okay? Okay, and this has been proved in the U.S. since 2018, just so you know. And they say that patients consume standardized doses of either CBD or a placebo for 3 weeks. The patients who consume CBD acknowledged no serious side effects and experienced a significant increase in body mass index over time compared to the placebo group. And the authors concluded this study demonstrates a favorable safety profile for CBD in women with AN and atypical AN, the anorexia, with the capacity to support weight recovery and an indication of improving eating disorder psychotherapy. Psychopathology, there you go. So yeah. They talk about future research into CBD focusing on larger sample sizes and longer stuff. So anything that helps, increase body mass index, boy, you've really brightened up there, Tamara.
That's because the sun's beating right in that window.
Did you just have an idea? Did you just have an idea and the light bulb went off in your head?
Yeah, light bulb went on. Yeah, no, this is my west facing window, and it's because of the time change now, and because it's
wow.
light until like 10 o'clock at night. It couldn't beating in. This is my vitamin D, taken for the day.
Yeah, getting your vitamin D.
But I got a south-facing window here, and I got 2 west-facing windows here, and that's that's pretty much my deck's all east-facing, and so the house is like you get sunlight pretty much all day.
All day. All right. Well, instead of blinding everybody by the light.
And I'd get up and move it, but I can't even move right now. Or I'd get up and run.
No. There's only another minute left in the show anyway.
Sorry for blinding you by the light, but hey, at least you got a little sunshine in your life.
That's right. Yeah. Especially you're getting a lot of rain. Like we're getting a lot of rain here. So. You
know what? We have had some pretty great gross days here too. Like I said, with the pain levels I've been in, it's been pretty gray and gross. So I'm happy there's a little sun coming in right now.
All right. Anything before I sign us off?
No. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Other than that, thanks go out to our sponsors, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, as well as At-Eze.ca. Thanks to everybody for tuning in the program, whether you are catching the audio podcast or the video end of things. And other than that, we will see you next week. And good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education. You're listening to the PACE Radio Network here at paceradio.net.